Imagine this. You're running from a life you can't escape. A single bite in a dark alley changed everything. Now the moon is full, and something inside you is waking up. Claws, hunger, power. But the pack that bit you? They don't want a lone wolf. They want obedience, or your blood. Comment below, team run or team join the pack. Which side are you on? Subscribe plus hit the bell so you never miss any of our stories. The hunt begins soon, and trust me, the twist at the end of the story will worth you time. The rain in Blackthorn Hollow never stopped. It was the kind of rain that soaked through jackets, through skin, through lies. Elias Crow had been running from it for 3 years. He parked his beat-up Jeep at the edge of the old logging road, killed the engine, and listened to the wipers slap like a dying heartbeat. The GPS had died 20 miles back. Good. No one was supposed to find him here. Last stop, asshole. He muttered to his reflection in the rear view. The face staring back had hollow cheeks, a week-old beard, and eyes that hadn't slept since Chicago. Since the night he'd put 3 bullets in a man who wouldn't stay dead. Elias grabbed the duffel bag. Fake IDs, $3,000 in crumpled bills, and the silver knife he'd stolen from the pawn shop in Detroit, and stepped into the downpour. The town sign loomed ahead, half swallowed by vines.
Astérisque astérisque Blackthorn Hollow est. 1873 pop. 412 astérisque astérisque.
Someone had spray-painted over the population number, 411. A joke? Or a warning? He laughed once, bitter. Then the laugh died when he saw the eyes. They were in the treeline, yellow, unblinking, gone the second he blinked. Just a deer, he told himself. Just a fucking deer. But the forest smelled wrong. Copper and wet fur and something electric like the air before lightning. Elias pulled up his hood and started walking toward the single blinking neon sign that promised rooms, beer, and no questions. The Blackthorn Inn looked like it had been built by someone who hated guests. Creaking porch, windows fogged with age, and a wooden wolf carving over the door that seemed to follow him with its carved eyes. Inside, the smell of wood smoke and whiskey hit him like a memory he didn't want. Only 3 people were in the bar. An old man nursing a beer, a woman with a scar across her throat cleaning glasses, and a guy built like a lumberjack who hadn't shaved since the Clinton administration. The woman, mid-30s, dark braid, eyes like winter, looked up. "You lost." Her voice had gravel in it. "Looking for a room. Cash. No name." She studied him the way wolves study rabbits. Then she slid a key across the counter. "Room 7. Top floor, back corner. Breakfast is at 7. Don't be late. And stranger," she leaned in, "don't go into the woods after dark. Not even for a smoke." Elias took the key. Not planning on it. He was lying. Room 7 smelled of pine and old blood. The bed sagged like it had given up on life. He dropped his bag, peeled off his wet clothes, and stood under the coldest shower the pipes could manage. When he stepped out, the mirror was fogged. He wiped it with his hand, and froze. On his left shoulder, the scar he'd had since Chicago, the one shaped like teeth, was glowing faint silver under the bathroom light. Hadn't done that in months. "Shit," he whispered. That was when the howling started. Not one voice, chorus, far away, but close enough that the glass in the windowpane vibrated. Elias pressed his forehead to the cold pane and looked out. The moon was full, blood red, and something huge moved between the trees at the edge of the parking lot. Something that walked on 2 legs. He jerked the curtain shut, heart jackhammering. Not real, not real, but the bite on his shoulder burned like it remembered. He didn't sleep. At 3:17 a.m., the power cut out. The howling stopped. Then came the scratching at his door. Slow, deliberate, claws on wood. Elias grabbed the silver knife and stood in the dark, breathing through his mouth. The scratching paused. A voice, low, amused, female, slid under the door like smoke. Elias Crow. You can't hide from the pack forever. The moon knows your name now. He didn't answer. The voice laughed softly. Run if you want. We love the chase. Then silence. When the sun finally rose, weak and gray, Elias opened the door. No footprints. Just a single black wolf hair on the welcome mat and a note written in what looked like dried blood. Tonight you choose. Join us or feed us. Asterisk asterisk. He crumpled the note, shoved it in his pocket, and walked downstairs like a man already dead. The woman from last night was behind the bar again. Same braid, same winter eyes. She poured him black coffee without asking. You heard them, she said. Not a question. Elias Saturday. What the hell is this town? She wiped the counter slowly. Blackthorn Hollow isn't on most maps anymore. People who come here, they're either running from something or running toward it. You're both. He sipped the coffee. Tasted like ash. I got bit in Chicago. Guy I killed, he wasn't human. Neither was the thing that bit me after. Thought if I came far enough north, maybe the change wouldn't find me. The woman's scar twitched when she smiled. The change always finds you. Question is whether you fight it or let it win. She slid a second key across the bar. Smaller. Brass. Basement. Door at the end of the hall. If you want answers, go down there at midnight. But fair warning. Once you see what's in that room, there's no going back to being human. Elias stared at the key. Why help me? Because the last guy who ran, he lasted for nights. Then the pack dragged what was left of him out of the river wearing his own face as a mask. She leaned closer. Her breath smelled like pine needles and copper. My name's Mara, and I'm the one who's going to decide if you live past sunrise tomorrow. Elias took the key. His hand shook for the first time in 3 years. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. He looked toward the tree-line and saw them. 6 silhouettes standing between the pines, watching him with glowing yellow eyes. One stepped forward. Tall. Broad. The alpha. Even from a distance Elias could see the scar across its muzzle that matched the bite on his own shoulder. The alpha lifted its head and howled once. Not a threat. An invitation. Elias felt the moon, still visible in the daylight sky like a ghost, pull at something deep in his chest. His scar burned hotter. His fingernails itched. He whispered to the empty parking lot, voice cracking. I didn't ask for this. From the trees, the alpha's voice carried on the wind, human and monstrous at the same time. None of us did, brother. But the moon doesn't care what we ask for. Elias turned and walked back inside, gripping the basement key so hard it cut his palm. Behind him, the pack melted back into the woods. But he could still feel their eyes. And somewhere inside him, something with claws and hunger was waking up. Elias descended the narrow basement stairs like a man walking into his own grave. The wooden steps groaned under his boots. Each one felt like it might give way and drop him into whatever hell waited below. The brass key Mara had given him burned cold in his palm. Midnight had come and gone 10 minutes ago, but the inn was dead silent except for the distant drip of water somewhere in the dark. At the bottom, a single bare bulb swung from a frayed cord, throwing long shadows across concrete walls stained with what could have been rust, or worse. The air smelled of damp earth, old blood, and something feral, like a dog kennel left to rot. In the center of the room stood a heavy iron door, rusted but reinforced with fresh welds. A padlock the size of a fist hung open. Someone had been expecting him. Elias pushed the door. It swung inward with a low metallic moan. Inside was not what he expected. No torture chamber. No calles. A long wooden table ran down the middle, covered in yellowed maps, newspaper clippings, and Polaroids pinned like evidence in a cold case. At the far end, a corkboard dominated the wall. Hundreds of faces, dates, locations. Red string connected them in frantic webs. Missing persons. Animal attacks. Wolf sightings. Every pin ended at Blackthorn Hollow. Above the board, carved into the concrete in deep, angry letters, the pack remembers. And below it, smaller, fresher scratches. Elias Crow, Chicago, 3 victims. Bitten 14 months ago. Marked by Alpha. His own face stared back from a grainy photo, taken outside the Chicago precinct the night he'd shot that thing. Someone had been watching him for a long time. Footsteps behind him. Soft. Deliberate. Mara stepped into the light. She'd changed, no braid now, hair loose and wild. Her scar looked rawer under the bulb, like it had been reopened recently. She carried a silver chain coiled in one hand, the kind used for restraining very large dogs. "You're late," she said. Elias kept his back to the wall, silver knife already in his grip. "You said midnight." "I said come at midnight, not stroll in like you own the place." She tilted her head. "You feel it yet? The pull?" He did. His scar throbbed in time with his heartbeat. His skin felt too tight. Nails ached like they wanted to split. "I'm not one of you," he growled. Mara laughed, short, humorless. "You will be by dawn, or you'll be dead. Those are the only 2 doors left." She walked to the table, picked up a faded Polaroid, and tossed it to him. It showed a younger Mara, maybe 20, standing beside a tall man with the same scarred muzzle Elias had seen in the treeline. They were smiling, human, happy. Behind them, a full moon. "That's Ronan," she said. "My brother. You're Alpha now." Elias stared. "He bit me?"
No.
"One of his betas did. You killed a human that night in Chicago, Ronan's cousin. Pack law says blood for blood. But Ronan decided you were interesting, worth turning instead of tearing apart." Elias felt bile rise. "I didn't ask for any of this. None of us did." Mara's voice softened, just for a second. "Ronan was turned 30 years ago. He tried to fight it. Built this town as a sanctuary for bitten ones who wanted control. Then the old Alpha, his sire, came back. Said the pack had grown weak. Challenged Ronan. Ronan won. But the old ways won with him. Now the pack hunts, feeds, turns. No more sanctuary. Just survival." She stepped closer. The chain clinked. "Tonight's your first full moon since the bite took root. You'll shift. No stopping it. Question is, do you do it chained in here with me watching so you don't rip your own throat out? Or do you run to the woods and let Ronan claim you?" Elias looked at the chain, then at the door. "I'm not joining your cult. It's not a cult. It's family. The only one that'll have you after tonight." He backed toward the stairs. Mara sighed. "You'll regret that." He bolted. Up the stairs, through the empty bar, out the front door into the night. The rain had returned, harder now, sheets of it. The blood moon hung bloated and low, turning everything crimson. His Jeep was still in the lot, keys in his pocket. He made it 10 steps before the change hit. It started in his spine, a crack like lightning inside bone. He dropped to his knees in the gravel, gasping. Heat exploded through his veins like gasoline set alight. His vision sharpened, then blurred, then sharpened again, colors bleeding into impossible hues. The smell of wet earth, motor oil, and blood overwhelmed him. His fingers lengthened, joints popped and realigned. Claws punched through skin, black and curved. Pain so bright it blinded him. He screamed, human at first, then something deeper, guttural, ending in a howl that echoed off the trees. Fur erupted in waves, dark gray, streaked with black. His jaw pushed forward, teeth lengthening into fangs. Ears stretched, twitched. The scar on his shoulder flared white-hot, then cooled as new muscle knit over it. When it finished, the thing that had been Elias, stood 8 feet tall on digitigrade legs. Chest heaving. Steam rising from wet fur in the cold rain. He looked down at his hands, paws now, flexing claws that could gut a man in one swipe. And he felt alive, hungry, powerful. From the treeline answering howls rose, the pack calling their newest brother home. He turned toward the forest, but something inside him, small, stubborn, human, clung to one last thought. Run. Don't join. Run. He ran. Not toward the pack. Away. Through the parking lot, past the inn, into the pines. Branches whipped his face, tore fur, drew blood that healed almost instantly. The ground blurred beneath paws that ate distance like fire. Rain stung his muzzle. Lightning cracked overhead, illuminating the blood moon in fractured bursts. He didn't know how far he ran, miles, maybe. Time dissolved in the red haze. Then he smelled them. Not just scent, presence. 6:07 now. Closing fast. Flanking. He skidded to a stop in a clearing. Moonlight poured down like spilled blood. They emerged one by one. First the betas, smaller, leaner, fur-mottled brown and gray. Yellow eyes locked on him. Then Ronan. The alpha stepped into the clearing last. Bigger than the rest. Scar across his muzzle gleaming silver in the moonlight. Shoulders broad enough to block the sky. He walked upright, regal, like a king in his court. He stopped 10 feet away. Voice rumbling, half human, half beast. Welcome home, Elias. Elias snarled, couldn't help it. The sound vibrated in his own throat. Ronan tilted his head. You ran. That's good. Means you've still got fight. Means you're worth keeping. I'm not yours, Elias managed. Words slurred around fangs, but understandable. Ronan's laugh was thunder. You're pack now. Blood says so. Moon says so. And soon, he gestured to the betas circling. You'll hunt with us, or you'll be hunted. Elias felt the pull again. Stronger now. An instinct to bare throat, to submit, to belong. He fought it. I killed one of you, he said. I'll kill more if I have to. Ronan's eyes narrowed. You killed a fool who broke pack law. I let you live because of it. But test me tonight, pup, and I'll rip that defiance out with your spine. Lightning flashed. In that split second, Elias saw Mara. She stood at the clearing's edge, human, soaked, silver chain still in hand. Her eyes met his. Not cold now. Something else. Regret? Hope? She mouthed one word, run. Ronan saw it too. He snarled. Mara, still playing savior. She stepped forward. He's not ready, Ronan. You forced the first hunt. He'll lose what makes him useful. Let me break him in. My way. Ronan studied her. Then Elias. Then the moon. 3 nights, he said finally. You have 3 nights to bring him to heel. Teach him the ways. If he runs again, or if he refuses the hunt on the 3rd night, I'll gut him myself. And you'll watch. Mara nodded once. Ronan turned back to Elias. Enjoy your freedom, pup. It ends soon. He howled. A sound that shook leaves from trees, and the pack melted back into shadow. Silence fell. Only rain and Elias's ragged breathing. Mara approached slowly. You're bleeding, she said. He looked down. Claw marks on his own arms, from fighting the change, maybe. Already healing. I could have killed them, he rasped. You could have, but you didn't. She reached out, hesitated, then touched the fur on his forearm. Gentle. Come back to the inn. Before you freeze. Or before something worse finds you. He followed her. Not because he trusted her. Because he had nowhere else to go. Back in the basement, she chained one wrist to the iron ring in the wall. Not tight. Symbolic. You shift back at dawn, she said. It hurts worse coming down. First few times, you'll wish you stayed wolf. Elias sat against the wall, still in fur, towering even seated. Why help me? He asked again. Mara sat across from him, knees drawn up. Because Ronan was my brother before he was alpha. And I remember who he used to be. If there's any chance of getting that man back. It starts with not letting him turn every bitten soul into a monster. She looked at the scars on his shoulder, now part of his fur pattern. And because you're the first one in years who looked at the pack and didn't bow immediately. That makes you dangerous. Dangerous might be what we need. Dawn crept in through a high grate. Elias felt the pull reverse. Bones grinding back, fur receding, agony like fire in reverse. He screamed until his voice cracked human again. When it was over, he lay naked and shivering on the concrete. Mara draped a blanket over him. No judgment. Sleep, she said. Tomorrow night we start training. You learn control, or Ronan learns how to break you. Elias closed his eyes, but sleep didn't come easy, because in the quiet he heard it, distant howls. Not the packs, something else, older, deeper, coming closer, and in his blood something answered. The second night came faster than Elias wanted. He woke on the basement floor, naked under the blanket Mara had left, body aching like he'd been hit by a truck. The silver chain was gone, removed while he slept. A small mercy or a test. Mara was already there, leaning against the wall with arms crossed. Fresh coffee in a chipped mug. She looked like she hadn't slept either. Up, she said. We train before moonrise. Elias sat up slowly. Every muscle protested. Scars from the first shift had faded to thin silver lines, but the memory of the pain lingered like smoke. Train for what? Ronan's ultimatum? 3 nights to bring me to heel? Mara's scar twitched. For control. If you lose it during the hunt tonight, you kill someone innocent or one of us, and Ronan ends you. No second chances. She tossed him clothes. Black hoodie, jeans, boots. Practical. Easy to tear off. Tonight we hunt. Not for sport. For survival. The pack needs fresh meat to keep the old hunger at bay. If we don't feed, the change gets worse. More feral. Less human each time. Elias pulled on the hoodie. What do you hunt? Deer mostly. Elk if we're lucky. Sometimes things that wander too close to the hollow. Poachers. Lost hikers. People who ignore the signs. He stared at her. You kill people? Only if they force it. Her voice was flat. Ronan says the moon demands balance. Blood for blood. But I've kept it clean for years. Tonight, you'll see why that's getting harder. She led him upstairs. The inn was empty again, no guests, no bartender. Just the wolf carving over the door watching them leave. Outside, the sky was bruised purple. The blood moon wouldn't rise for hours, but the air already hummed with anticipation. Elias felt it in his teeth. They walked into the forest. No trail. Mara moved like she knew every root and shadow. Elias followed, senses sharpening even in human form. Sense of pine, damp earth, small animals scattering. After a mile, she stopped in a small ravine. Moonlight filtered through branches in thin red spears. Shift here, she said. Controlled. Slow. Fight the rush. Feel the change instead of letting it take you. Elias clenched his fists. I don't know how. Then learn fast. He closed his eyes, focused on the scar. The pull was there, stronger tonight, like a hook in his chest tugging toward the moon. He let it in. Pain came in waves, but slower this time. Bones cracked but didn't shatter. Fur rolled across skin like oil on water. Claws emerged with a wet pop. Jaw extended. Vision exploded into night colors. Greens and grays vivid, heat signatures pulsing. When it finished, he stood taller, balanced on digitigrade legs. Breathing steady, not screaming. Mara shifted too, faster, smoother. Her fur was deep charcoal with silver streaks at the muzzle. Scar visible as a white slash across her throat fur. She looked at him with those winter eyes. Better. Her voice echoed in his head. Not words, but thought. Pack link. Now run. They ran. The forest blurred. Paws pounded earth. Wind tore past. Elias felt power raw, intoxicating. No fear. Only hunger. They crested a ridge. Below, a small herd of deer grazing in moonlight. One buck, antlers wide, lifted his head. Mara signaled. Flank left. Elias obeyed instinctively. They circled. Silent. Perfect. The buck bolted. The chase was ecstasy. Elias leaped logs, dodged branches, closed distance. Mara flanked, driving the herd toward a narrow gorge. The buck slipped, hoof caught root. Elias was on him in seconds. Claws raked flank. Teeth sank into throat. Hot blood flooded mouth. The buck thrashed once, then stilled. Elias stood over the kill, chest heaving. Blood dripped from muzzle. Hunger sated for now. Mara padded up. Clean kill. Good. She tore into the haunch, ripping meat free. Elias joined her. The taste was life itself. Then he heard it. Not pack howls. Deeper. Older. Like stones grinding in a throat the size of a cave. The forest went silent. Birds froze mid-flight. Even wind held breath. Mara lifted her head. Ears flat. Hackles up. Stay low, she thought. Don't move. From the far ridge something emerged. Massive. Taller than Ronan. Fur blacker than night. Matted with ancient moss and scars like lightning. Eyes not yellow, red. Burning coals. It walked on two legs but hunched, as if the earth itself bent under its weight. It lifted its head and inhaled, scenting them. The ancient thing howled. The sound wasn't sound, it was pressure. It rattled Elias's bones, made his new fur stand on end. The pack link screamed with fear from every direction. Ronan's voice cut through, distant but urgent. Back to the hollow. Now. Mara and Elias bolted. They ran harder than before. Trees whipped past. The ground shook faintly. Footsteps behind them. They burst into the clearing behind the inn. Ronan and the betas waited, already shifted, forming a defensive line. Ronan's scarred muzzle turned to Elias. You felt it. Elias nodded, still panting. The elder Ronan thought. Sire of my sire. Thought dead for centuries. The old alpha who turned me. Then vanished when the pack grew strong enough to challenge him. Mara shifted back first, human, breathing hard. He's not dead. He's been sleeping. Waiting. The blood moon cycle is peaking. He woke because the pack is fractured. Because we're weak. Ronan snarled. He wants the hollow. Wants to reset everything to the old ways. Endless hunt. No control, no mercy. Elias shifted back too. Naked again. Shivering. Why now? Mara looked at him. Because of you. A new Bitten, one who killed a pack member and survived. The elder senses fresh blood. Fresh challenge. He'll test us all. Ronan stepped closer. Towering even in human form now. Broad, scarred, eyes still glowing faintly. Tonight was your test, pup. You killed clean. You ran with us. But the elder changes the game. He gripped Elias's shoulder hard. Tomorrow night is the third night. Full moon peak. We hunt the elder, or he hunts us. You stand with the pack, or you die alone. Elias met his gaze. And if I help kill him? Ronan smiled cold. Then you're one of us. Forever. Mara pulled Elias away as the pack dispersed. Back inside the inn. Down to the basement. She locked the door this time. You can't trust him, she whispered. Elias frowned. He's your brother. Was. The elder turned him cruel. Ronan thinks killing the old one will make him Alpha Supreme. But I've seen the visions in the link. The elder doesn't want to rule. He wants to end the pack. Wipe the slate. Start new with only the strongest. Or none at all. She sat close. For the first time, vulnerability cracked her mask. I need you, Elias. Not as another beta. As something else. Someone who still remembers what human feels like. If we're going to survive tomorrow, we need to break Ronan's hold first. Elias stared at the scar on her throat. How? Tomorrow night, during the hunt for the elder, we turn the pack against him. Show them the truth. But it means betraying my own blood. Silence stretched. Elias felt the moon pull again, even through stone walls. I'm in, he said finally. But if this goes wrong, Mara touched his hand. It already has. Outside, the distant howl came again. Closer now. The elder was coming. And the blood moon was only getting redder. The third night arrived like a blade. The blood moon hung so low it seemed to press against the treetops, turning Blackthorn Hollow's forest into a crimson hellscape. Rain fell in relentless sheets, turning the ground to mud that sucked at boots and paws alike. Elias stood on the inn's porch, already half-shifted, claws extended, fur rippling across arms and chest. The pull was unbearable now. No control left. Only the moon's command. Mara emerged beside him, human still but eyes glowing faintly. She carried 2 silver knives, one for each hand, and a small vial of dark liquid tucked in her pocket. Tonight we end this, she said. Or it ends us. Elias's voice came out gravelly. Ronan suspects? He always suspects, but he needs every claw tonight. The elder is close. I felt him in the link, old rage, older hunger. He's not just testing us. He's judging whether the pack is worth letting live. They stepped into the storm. The pack gathered in the same clearing where Elias had first faced Ronan. 7 now, Ronan at the center, Betas flanking, all shifted and snarling. The air crackled with pack energy, fear masked as fury. Ronan turned. His scarred muzzle lifted. Pup, you're late. Elias stepped forward, rain streaming off fur. I'm here. Ronan's eyes narrowed. Good. The elder moves toward the old quarry, 3 miles north. We hit him hard. Fast. No merci. Elias, you strike first. Prove your place. Mara's thought cut in, private to Elias only. He's setting you up. Front line means first to die. Stay near me. They ran. The forest parted before them like prey fleeing. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the path in white flashes. The elder's scent grew stronger. Ancient rot, iron, and something metallic like old blood frozen for centuries. They reached the quarry, a vast open pit carved into the hillside decades ago, now flooded at the bottom into a black lake. Steep rocky walls rose on 3 sides. Perfect ambush ground or perfect trap. The elder waited at the quarry's edge. He was even larger up close. 12 feet at the shoulder. Black fur matted into armor-like plates by time and moss. Scars crisscrossed his body like maps of forgotten wars. Red eyes burned without pupils. When he breathed, the rain seemed to steam off him. He didn't howl. He simply was. Ronan leaped first. For the pack. The Betas followed in a wave. The elder moved, slow at first, then blindingly fast. One massive paw swept, catching 2 Betas midair. Bones cracked. Bodies flew into the quarry wall, limp. Elias charged with Mara at his side. He leaped for the elder's flank, claws raking deep, fur parted. Black ichor oozed thick, slow. The elder turned. A backhand sent Elias tumbling across rock. Pain exploded in ribs. He rolled, came up snarling. Mara struck next, silver knife flashing. She buried it in the elder's thigh. The monster roared, a sound that made the quarry tremble. He swatted at her. She dodged, but the claw grazed her side. Blood bloomed dark on her fur. Ronan roared triumph. Now, all together. The remaining pack converged. But then Mara moved. She spun not toward the elder but toward Ronan. Her knife plunged into his shoulder, silver burning through fur and muscle. Ronan bellowed in shock and pain. Traitor! His thought thundered across the link. The pack froze. Mara ripped the knife free. He's been lying to you all. The elder isn't here to destroy us. He's here because Ronan called him. Ronan made a pact years ago to trade the pack's freedom for ultimate power. He woke the old one deliberately. Ronan staggered. Blood poured. Lies. But doubt rippled through the link. Elias felt it. Confusion, anger, betrayal. The elder laughed. A grinding, ancient sound. The pup speaks truth. Your alpha sold you, promised me fresh territory, in exchange for turning him into something greater than wolf, greater than man, a god among beasts. Ronan snarled, lunging at Mara. Elias intercepted. He slammed into Ronan, claws locking with claws. They rolled across wet stone, tearing at each other. Ronan was stronger, older in the change. He pinned Elias, fangs inches from throat. You could have been mine, Ronan growled aloud. Now you die with her. A beta, lean brown-furred female, leaped onto Ronan's back. Claws sank deep. Another joined. Then another. The pack turned. Ronan thrashed, roaring betrayal. But numbers won. Claws and fangs tore into him. He fought viciously, ripping one beta's arm clean off, crushing another's skull. But the silver in his shoulder weakened him. The wound smoked. Mara stood over him as the pack held him down. Tears mixed with rain on her face. I'm sorry, brother. She drove the second knife into his heart. Ronan's eyes widened. The glow faded. His body convulsed once. Then stilled. Silence fell. Only rain and the elder's slow breathing. The elder tilted his head. Well done. The weak alpha is gone. Now, who claims leadership? The betas looked to Mara. Then to Elias. Mara shook her head. Not me. Not yet. Elias rose, bloodied, ribs screaming. He met the elder's red gaze. The ancient one stepped forward. Then prove it, new blood. Kill me or submit. Elias felt the pack link surge. Stronger without Ronan's dominance. Power flowed. Not control. Unity. He howled. A sound that echoed off quarry walls, joined by every surviving wolf. They charged as one. The elder met them. The fight was chaos.
Cloche met cloche.
Fangstor Fleisch. The quarry became a slaughter pit. Elias leaped onto the elder's back, claws digging for spine. Mara flanked, silver knives flashing. The betas harried legs and flanks. The elder was unstoppable at first, swatting wolves aside like dolls. One beta's neck snapped. Another was crushed underfoot. But they wore him down. A silver knife in the knee slowed him. Elias's claws found an old scar, ripped it open. Black ichor flooded out. The elder staggered. Mara climbed his chest, knife raised for the throat. The elder caught her in one massive paw. Squeezed. Mara gasped. Bones cracked. Elias roared. He launched himself, jaws closing on the elder's wrist.
Tiet met bone.
He twisted. The paw opened. Mara dropped, coughing blood. The elder backhanded Elias into the quarry lake. Cold black water swallowed him. He sank, lungs burning. Above, the pack pressed the attack. Elias surfaced, gasping. He climbed the rocky wall, claws finding purchase. When he reached the top, the elder was on his knees. Fur torn, one eye ruined, but still fighting. Mara lay nearby, barely breathing. The remaining betas circled, wounded but alive. Elias staggered forward. The elder looked at him. Finish it, or become what I am. Elias raised claws, but something stopped him. In the link, he felt it, Mara's fading pulse. The pack's exhaustion. The hollow itself, tired of blood. He lowered his hand. No, he said aloud. We end the cycle, not continue it. The elder laughed, wet, dying. Then you are weak. He lunged one last time. Elias met him, claws to chest. He drove deep through heart, through ancient muscle. The elder shuddered. Red eyes dimmed. Massive body collapsed, shaking the ground. Silence. Rain lessened. Elias dropped to his knees beside Mara. She reached up, touched his muzzle. You chose. Her hand fell. The link dimmed. Her presence faded. Gone. The betas howled mourning. Elias lifted his head to the blood moon, now paling toward dawn. The pack was his now. But at what cost? And in the distance, deeper in the forest, another howl answered. Not the elder. Something new. Younger. hungrier. The cycle wasn't broken. It had just begun again. Dawn broke over Blackthorn Hollow like a reluctant promise. The blood moon had faded to a pale ghost in the western sky. Its red glow bled out into ordinary gray. Rain tapered to mist. The quarry below was a slaughterhouse. Elder's massive corpse sprawled across cracked stone. Ronan's broken body nearby. Scattered Beta remains half-submerged in black water. The surviving pack, 5 now, including Elias, stood in a ragged circle atop the rim, fur-matted, wounds steaming as they healed slowly. Elias shifted back first. Human skin felt fragile after the night's fury. Scars crisscrossed his chest and arms, new permanent marks. He breathed deep, tasting iron and wet earth. The pack link hummed quieter now, no longer dominated by Ronan's iron will or Mara's steady presence. Felt open, waiting. The betas shifted too, faces he barely knew. The lean brown female who'd first turned on Ronan. A grizzled gray male with one torn ear, 3 others, younger, shell-shocked. They looked to him. No words at first, just the weight of survival. The brown female Lyra, he learned later, spoke. Alpha. The word landed like a stone in still water. Elias shook his head. I didn't want this. None of us did, the grizzled one rumbled. But the moon chose. The elder's gone. Ronan's gone. Mara's gone. You're what's left. Elias looked at Mara's body. Still in wolf form, charcoal fur dark with blood, throat scar stark even in death. He knelt, brushed wet fur from her face. Her winter eyes were closed forever. I failed her, he whispered.
Lyra stepped closer.
She chose you to carry it forward, not to break like Ronan did, not to sleep like the elder, to change it. The link pulsed, agreement, fragile hope. Elias stood. The hollow isn't a prison anymore. No more forced hunts. No more trading lives for power. We protect what's here. We control the change. Or we walk away, one by one, if that's what it takes. Murmurs rippled. Not rebellion. Relief. But the distant howl came again, closer now. Not ancient. Not elder. Young. Raw. Hungry in a different way. Elias's head snapped toward the forest. Something's coming, he said. They shifted instinctively. Fur, claws, heightened senses. From the treeline emerged a lone figure. Not as large as the elder. Not scarred like Ronan. A younger wolf. Sleek black fur with crimson streaks at the muzzle. Eyes burning the same hungry red as the elder's had. Smaller but faster. Newer. Born of the same bloodline, perhaps, awakened by the same peak moon. It stopped at the clearing edge, sniffed the air, saw the corpses, saw Elias. Its voice echoed in the link. Not words, but intent. Clear, cold. Pack is broken. I claim what remains. Elias stepped forward. You claim nothing. The new wolf, let's call him Kale, though no one named him yet, tilted his head. The elder's blood runs in me. His power. His right. You killed him. Now I take his place. The betas growled low. Elias felt the pull. Not the moon's this time, but something deeper. Legacy. Cycle. The same hunger that had twisted Ronan, that had slept in the elder. He could submit. Let the stronger take over. End the fight. Or break it. He howled long, clear, carrying across the hollow. Not dominance. A challenge. And an offer. Run with us. Or run alone. But the old ways die tonight. Kale snarled. Weakness. He lunged. The fight was swift. Brutal. Personal. Kale was fast, blinding strikes, claws like blades. He raked Elias's side, drawing fresh blood. Elias countered, older in experience now, pack strength flowing through him. He caught Kale's arm, twisted, slammed him into rock. They rolled. Fangs snapped.
Klostore.
The pack circled, not joining yet. Watching. Waiting for their new alpha to prove it. Elias pinned Kale. Claws at throat. Do it, Kale spat. Finish what you started. Elias hesitated. In the link he felt Mara's echo, not gone entirely. The faint warmth. Choose. He leaned close. I'm not finishing cycles. I'm ending them. He released. Kale scrambled up, confused, furious. Elias stood, human again, bleeding, exhausted. Leave the hollow, he said aloud. Or stay, but on our terms. No alpha rules alone. No blood for power. We hunt to live, not to conquer. Kale stared. Red eyes flickered, rage, then something else. Doubt? Curiosity. The young wolf backed away slowly, snarled once more, then turned, melted into the trees. Gone for now. The pack exhaled as one. Lyra padded up. He'll return. Stronger. Or with others. Elias nodded. Then we'll be ready. They returned to the inn as the sun rose fully, gold breaking through clouds. The neon sign flickered weakly. The wolf carving over the door seemed less menacing in daylight. Inside, Elias found Mara's room. Her things, old maps, silver chain, a small journal. He opened it. Her handwriting. Entries about Ronan's fall. The Elder's awakening. Hopes for a new Bitten who might remember humanity. Last page, dated yesterday. If he survives tonight, tell him. The bite doesn't have to be a curse. Can be a beginning, if he chooses. Elias closed the journal. Set it on the table. He stepped onto the porch. The pack, human now, gathered below. We rebuild, he said. The inn stays open. Rooms for Bitten who need sanctuary. Training for control. No more hiding. No more running. Blackthorn Hollow becomes something new. They nodded. Tired smiles. Hope. But Elias knew. The cycle wasn't broken. Just bent. Kale was out there. Others might come, drawn by the moon, by blood, by change. He looked to the forest. Somewhere a faint howl answered, not threat. Not yet. Question. Elias lifted his head. And howled back. Not in submission. In defiance. In promise. The moon would rise again. But next time, they'd face it together.